Hello.
Hey, Steve, it's Gerard.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Middays. It's very timely. Steve, I was just talking about, get you to weigh in on this, just talking about the Fed, the Federal Reserve going woke here with the Democrat, at least the Democrats want to introduce and add to their dual mandate of stable employment and money. They want to add to that racial equity, monetary policy.
No, that's a good topic. It's ridiculous.
This is crazy. What does that have to do with monetary policy?
Nothing. So that's why they can't get inflation under control, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I was just sharing with the listeners here this report I got out of from Reuters, where they're talking about the Department of Labor. This happened a couple of months ago, but it's getting more traction. Where administration of private retirement plans, 401ks and such, would have to consider the Biden climate agenda, that companies would be scored based on their ESG and their attention to climate change and their ability to withstand climate change. And you may not be able to invest in companies because of that.
It's disgusting.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, where is all this going? When do we just remove all of this woke stuff and this social justice agenda out of economics? I mean, you're an economist. Where do we get rid of that and focus on money?
I know. Well, I just wrote a column on this, basically making the point that the American people have reached peak woke. I think people are tired of the nonsense. They want lower gas prices. We want an economy that performs. We want less inflation. We want a secure border, and we're just we're not doing the Democrats have become the climate change party. That's all they seem to care about.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable, and they're injecting this into every institution, every agency, its agenda, its goals and objectives, and not its core mission. We've seen it at West Point over the weekend. Judicial Watch got some documents showing that West Point seems to be more concerned about CRT than they do preparing for the next conflict and keeping the nation safe.
Yeah. Well, even the CDC, they weren't ready for a virus. They were too busy dealing with climate change and gun violence and gender equity and things like that. I mean, it's just, when you have 100 missions, you don't have a mission at all.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's absolutely right. All right, so we just, the chairman, Fed Chairman Powell was on the Hill testifying, and we just saw a report where he was asked a question. I can't remember who it was, member of Congress, that asked him the question about how much the situation in Ukraine is a factor in this rampant inflation we're all experiencing, and he said none. I was a little surprised at that, given his boss and his boss's position.
That was Chairman Powell?
Yeah.
Well, look, the inflation all started long before, the Russians invaded Ukraine. By the way, if Trump were still president, the Russians never would have invaded Ukraine in the first place.
Yeah.
But this idea that it's all, Putin is just passing the buck. That's all Biden does, is pass the buck. By the way, I believe we're in a recession right now. I think the recession's here. And, the last 6 months, we've had negative growth for the economy. So we've been shrinking. People are getting poorer every paycheck because we've got 8.5% inflation and 5% wage gains. So people are falling behind 3% every year. That means, for the average family, they're losing about $2,500.
Yep.
It's a brutal economic environment out there now.
Well, are we going to see any movement? So now we're hearing that the president is considering pausing the federal excise tax on gas for 3 months, but that's not going to increase the supply. The fundamental problem is a demand and supply problem.
That's exactly right. You're 100% correct. And so, I'm ambivalent about cutting the gas tax. I mean, I think it's okay, but, that's going to cut the price of gas by maybe 15 cents a gallon.
Right.
Look, the price of gallon's gone up by $2.50 a gallon under Biden. It was $2.49 a gallon when Trump left office. Now it's $5.05 a gallon. So, these are Band-Aids.
Unbelievable. Do you think we'll see anything? I mean, what I'd like to see, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, Steve, I'd like to see Biden come out and say, hey, look, oil and gas industry, we're off your back for 20 years at least. We need you.
Yeah. Well, I like that idea, but I think the chances of that happening are under Joe Biden are like the chances of hell freezing over. I mean, this is a president who declared war on American oil and gas. He told us, remember in that debate with Trump, he said he wanted to close down the oil and gas industry. So the left wants high gas prices because they don't want people to use gasoline. They think it's a sinister fuel. And so, the biggest lie out of Biden was he keeps saying, I'm doing everything I can to reduce gas prices. No. He's doing everything he can to increase gas prices. Let's not forget. You know what his first act as president was, right?
Yeah. Kill the pipeline.
The pipeline, yeah. Well, we need pipelines to produce all this oil and gas in the Gulf area and in North Dakota and Alaska. We need pipelines.
Right.
But the other thing he says is, why aren't we refining more oil and gas? Oh, my God, the oil and gas industry has asked the federal government for 25 years to give approval for refineries.
Right.
And, and it's all of Joe Biden's left-wing friends that have blocked all the refineries. Now he's saying, oh, gee, why aren't you refining more gas? I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
Right. Well, and you probably saw the president and all of his surrogates went to the Sunday shows and said, hey, look, a recession is not inevitable. That's what they're all saying. But I'm with you. We already got half of it in the books, right, with the first quarter.
Yeah.
We get the data at the end of June, and it comes out as a contraction. We're in a recession, technically speaking.
We are, because the Atlanta Fed says for the second quarter we are at zero growth. And, there's two more weeks for the quarter because that ends on July 1st. But it's just looking pretty ugly out there right now. And so I'm very nervous about the only question now is whether it will be a soft landing or a crash landing.
Yeah.
And, with Biden's policies, he's still pushing the Build Back Better bill.
I know.
This guy?
I know.
Can you imagine if we passed that bill? We'd have 15% inflation, not 9% inflation. And he wants, when he wants price controls, he's talking. How are you going to? He wants new taxes on the oil and gas industry. I mean, how are you going to reduce gas prices if you increase the taxes on the gas industry? I mean, none of this makes any sense to me.
Yeah, it almost seems like it's just it's symbolism. I'm going to increase taxes on the industry, but we'll fall. Look, I'm going after those mean, greedy oil and gas companies.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which really accomplishes nothing. And the last time we did that, we saw an increase in gas when they implemented that policy.
Exactly. Yeah, of course, they just passed all those taxes on to the consumers.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, Jesse, great to be with you as always.
Appreciate it, Steve.
Do it again soon. I gotta run and jump and do a Fox interview, but always good to be with you.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
See you later.
MidDays.